it works into most of the things that have been said since. And so, and even you yourself and Kede, you would have experienced this in your visit to Nigeria. You know, because of the way that we have taken, because we see the way that our affairs are being detected, we don't believe in ourselves anymore. Somebody said the other just now that if you were to take anything to Nigeria, or let me just quickly digress. I mean, it got to a stage now where if any project that you put in place has to be seen, I mean, these are policy makers to be effective and doable policies. And they tell you, you know, that you have to go and bring a European or a white person, all right, to implement that. And I mean, to my shock, I actually discovered something in Nigeria, in the area of construction, you know, white to hire. There are some white people in Nigeria, you just go to, they are based in Port Harcourt and Lagos, and investigate this. It is true. These white people are either married to Nigerians or Nigerians are married to them. What do? You have a project, you've written a project. If a Nigerian architect and constructors will put a plan together and submit it, they are told by members of parliament of different states or whatever that the only way this will be approved is if you come with, you know, a European to do the bidding for you. And when I made this statement on the platform of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, they almost ate me raw. Not because it is not true. They told me that it was not the platform to make this kind of announcement. How can you progress in that kind of society where they believe that whatever you do as a Nigerian or as a Black person or as an African, it's not efficient? Because, you know, and not because of color, because these people have used to the idea that, you know, it's the white person that can deliver, you know, a project. I was very angry at first, but I sat down and actually, you know, look at it and analyze it. And I say, what does a Black man do if you were to give him a contract of $200 million now? And the first thing he would do is to buy an SUV or buy himself a private jet and all sorts of stuff. In the end, the project is not delivered. So we really, really need to sit down, and especially those of us in academia. We really, I mean, in Nigeria, they don't even have courses that you think are relevant to economic development. For example, project management is not offered. You know, economic development is not offered. You know, so you look at courses that you come in here, you know, you say, look, yes, public administrations, you won't find them. But when you are going to thermonuclear dynamics, yes, it is there. When you look at some of the, you ask, what is the link between this university and the very local economy? You know, for example, if you come to the UK, you go to Southampton. Most of the courses that they do, naval architecture, you know, fishery and whatever, they are all there. Every university is tied to the local economy and so on and so forth. But you don't find any of these things. So I'm not exonerating anybody. These so-called professors and whatever, they, if you like, they designed those, okay? And so we really need to look down and ask ourselves very, very, very basic, simple question. You know, why do we exist as an institution or as an organization? You know, and how do we, you know, link our curriculum and delivery, you know, to local needs? Okay. What we need to do are very, very basic, simple things, but we are looking too far ahead. And if you look at now, anybody around you, just bring out your mobile phone. Even your children will be telling you, Daddy, my friends are coming, go and hide that your mobile phone. It's too old. We just consume. We never think about, you know, creating and manufacturing and building. And so there's work for everybody. You know, there are little things that we need to do. And these things do not actually require money. And finally, when you people talk about development, if you look at what the kind of life now that we live in Africa, that we denote poverty, Okay, there you see Africa, they say, oh, because you don't have this, you don't have that, you are poor, the roads are not tarred, etc., etc. Is that not what we are now emphasizing in the developed countries? If you go to modern development in Spain now, they don't tar them anymore. They just put white sand on them. You know why? You know, because when the rain falls, it's able to percolate and then, you know, sink almost immediately. All of us say we are looking at the flood in the lower Niger Delta in Lagos now. I laughed the other day. When you just take a city as big as Abuja, that was forested before, full of trees and and you now start building, you know, and then put it tamaka down on the floor. When the rain falls, it has no natural channel to flow. Where do you expect the water to go? You know, and so we, the so-called educated, those of us who think we are educated, we really have a huge apology, you know, to make on behalf of the 90% or 95% of the so-called uneducated Africa, what I would say the real educated Africa, that know what they need. They know the trees that can cure malaria. They know if you cut your snake bite, they know the leaves and so on and so forth. Why can't we devise technology that will bring all those things onto the market, rather than looking at those things on the shelf, you know, to come and sell in Africa? How can you convince me? You have been in university for almost 10, 20 years, all right? And you want to construct a road. You have a civil engineering faculty, right? You want to construct road. Your government do not see your product, you know, qualified enough. They go and bring in so-called, you know, technicians. The same thing with medicine in all of the fields, you know. So we really need to sit down and engage ourselves and have a lively debate as to say, what do we need? And those of us too, we need to be living and preaching, you know, what we say. I think there are various things that we can put in place.
Thank you very much. You posed a lot of challenges to us. Thank you very much. I think it's food for thought, and it's quite a number of things that we'll have to look into as well. And that is why these series are going on. But Dr. Gio, please, 1 minute.
Yeah, the data, you know, I wouldn't think. Now, if we want to go to the streets, you know, definition of data, I think is different from what we are referring to here. But data is a raw material, I mean, raw information without meaning. And when you put that into some group of material into meaning, it becomes information. And of course, when that information is being able to transmit and becomes intelligible, it becomes knowledge. But in the context of what we are talking now, I think data is when planning is based on some sort of information, like, you know, like concrete information, like one of the persons said there. So we might have those pieces of material, but do we really use them for planning? Do we use them for taking, you know, projects? I doubt that is the situation. So I think that is the main problem.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Gio. We have to round up now. So what I would do is to call on Dr. Huegbe to give your closing remark, followed by Dr. Gio and then Kede. Dr. Huegbe.
Yeah, thank you, moderator. I think today has been a very productive session. I thank all the contributors, Professor Bon, last mentioned. But I think that a matter like this doesn't end with this exercise. It carries on. And we can see that even there are issues that we cannot even define, for example, about data collection, you know, and so we'll carry on this discussion. But what is important is the fact that we accept that there are challenges, you know, that we know exist, and that we also know can be surmounted. The only question is, what should be our approach to overcoming these challenges? And that's probably where we differ. But by the time we continue to interact, we may be far closer than we think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The challenge is multifaceted. We are looking at it from different angles. Sub-Saharan Africa is huge. There are so many things to think about. Dr. Gill.
Yeah, I would basically just close by saying, re-emphasizing the fact that what we need to do is focus on light manufacturing and making ourselves what they call an attractive destination for outsourcing. Because we can be in our own cocoon talking about our own stuff and what rules and all that, but we are operating in a global economy. And what you have that make things, or you become part of that global economy, is to make yourself attractive. So, but then we shouldn't overbear ourselves with big engineering work. Light engineering, provide the nuts. If you can provide the battery to put into something, or make the nuts to be exported in another country, that's fine. So that's enough industrialization.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. So Dr. Gill is saying, let's focus on light manufacturing or engineering or industrialization, and also data. We've got data everywhere. Data is nothing if we're not using it. And Professor Ebohon has given us a lot to think about. There are data from every angle. What we need to do as academics, as Africans who are passionate about Africa, who want Africa's development politically, economically, socially, culturally, we need to localize our problem. We need to be able to develop solutions that we deal with our local challenges. So I will now call on Kede to give the closing remarks. Kede.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Sosa. I think it's been a very productive 2.5 hours. I think we can actually go on and on and on, but I take on board a lot of the stuff that has been discussed. And the way forward for us is to continue to engage with bright minds. And that's what we've been doing, like I said. And for those who joined late, we will definitely circulate this video once it's edited. Our next event, because we do it once monthly, will be on the 25th, or maybe another one. We may do two actually, but the major one will be on the 25th of July, and it will have to be a celebration of Diaspora Day. So Nigeria has set a date for Diaspora celebration, which is July 25th. And so we are going to do something on that day, and we will definitely be letting people know. And just a quick one, I think I have to say this, that a couple of days back, I read a very brilliant report that speaks to what Professor Ebohon was saying. And this report was put together from it documented 1950 to 1967. And it is the same thing that Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe brought an American economist to Nigeria, and that economist picked the best brains from the southeast of Nigeria. And these gentlemen were in their 20s, Harvard educated, Columbia, you name it. And that report, I said, for 17 years, what he did was amazing. And it's something that I've been looking at for the past couple. So Nigeria does not suffer from models. Ogbemudia himself in Midwest and Bendel also used the same model, and so it worked. For those of us who are young enough to know the two Nigerias, I would say we don't lack models, but I take that on board. And so let me just thank everyone. Again, Dr. Wegbe for at least spending 2.5 hours, and Dr. Gill, it was not easy. It was from 30 minutes to 1 hour to 2.5 hours. So we really appreciate the fact that—
And Dr. Osaga, Professor Osaga.
Professor Osaga, yeah. So Thank you very much. And so we'll call it a day and have a very brilliant weekend, and speak to you soon.